Great morning. Oh my goodness. Getting ready to go to El Paso, and as you can see, I'm dressed down. I'm not wearing my jewelry and all of that today because I'm going to not a good area of El Paso. Okay. So I think it's just better, err on the side of caution. So anyway, today later I may talk more about the vintage decks. Now I have 3 vintage. I have this one, the pink Ankh. I have the regular. This is also the vintage. They're all from about the same time, 68, 69, 70, about that timing. And the other one I have is the Albana weight. Okay. And we'll look at the difference of these, Albana weight. Okay. So you'll notice in them there is a difference when it comes to colorization and things. Now, if you cut down the Albana weight, you get like this. When you cut down the regular, that regular back, you get this. Okay. When you cut down the pink Ankh, well, here you can see a difference in the coloring too of those. The pink Ankh is a little larger when you cut it down. Why is that? Because some of these you cannot cut down all the way. The court cards have this, and you can't cut it down realistically any more than that. Your major arcana have it, and also the aces. So aces, court cards, and major arcana, you're going to have that you have to leave on. If you are like me and you like to cut your cards down, which I do. So the size difference, and I wanted to look at also the paper stock on these. It's pretty similar. Okay. Pretty similar. I wanted to look at the, let me see if I can find the, this particular, okay. Now if we look at the printing on them, I'm going to show you the difference. This is the pink Ankh deck, the printing on it. This is the regular. And then here is the Albana weight. And you can see the difference in the printing on these. This is a more muted. This has a little bit difference in the colorization. It's a little more psychedelic, you might say. And this one has a little bit more in the coloring, okay? So that's the difference you get in them. Now, I wanted to really get the pink Ankh and things, but then I found out, like I said, you can't cut it down as much as you can the other decks. The cardstock on the on these two decks is a little heavier than the Albana weight deck. Now, I like the colors on the Albana weight. That's just me. I do like the cardstock on these older decks. It is different. I'm trying to find the another one of these cards. I should put them all in the same order so we could go through and you can actually see what they look like. And like I said, for me, I just really enjoy the cardstock so much more in these older decks than I do in the newer decks. I just don't care for the cardstock in the new decks. Okay, where are you hiding? Where are you hiding, card? Watch it be the last card. Where are you? Where are you? Tell me I'm not going to find it. Oh, I bypassed it somewhere in here. So maybe when I get back, I'll have to put them all in the same order so we can go through and you can actually see the difference in these. Like I said, I really like the pink ink. I really wanted that deck, but you can't trim it down all the way, and I really like to take off the lettering and stuff on there. So am I missing a card? Why can't I find this one? It's hiding. I know you exist. Where are you? There it is. Okay. So here we have the regular deck. We have the Albana weight, and we have the pink ink. So there's the difference in those again. Okay. This one has definitely more color. Now this one is interesting. We've got two different shoes here, two different color shoes. Okay, we have much more color. We've got the olive that he's wearing, and in here it's more of a brown. So again, you know, these decks have differences to them. Now the one thing, if you like the more color, the thing with this deck, some of the people though their faces can look quite orange in this deck. Well, maybe I'll use it a bit more. Now that's one reason I like the Albana weight. It's got more colors, it's got a little more detail. Now they are not the traditional colors that you find in the original deck. They've been modified a bit, but I still do enjoy it quite a bit. But yeah, it does have a bit difference in it. And I do like this cardstock. It's really slick. It's got a different feel than does either of the others. I just think it's a better cardstock. Now, to find these cards, You're not going to find them under $100. I have not, I have not found one under $100 in the Albana weight. The original. I'm not talking about the duplicates that they're making now of it, because it's not the same cardstock. Okay, it may look the same, but yeah, no, it's not the same cardstock as is the 70s deck. And that's the thing I love about the 70s deck. I love the cardstock in it. It just feels good to have it and shuffle it. Now I'm going to try using the pink ink. Like I said, I've gotten these and then cutting them down. I wasn't so thrilled with the way that, you know, you have to leave those names on them. But if you're just, you know, starting, maybe you like to have those. I was looking to see if I could take it off, but in a lot of these, if you take that off and you go to cut it down anymore, it's going to cut off too much of the image. So it just doesn't work with this deck to cut them all the way down. I'm looking for our devil card in this one. Oh, here it is. Of course, the last card. Now, these are really different. Here's the original. Here's the Albana weight. You can see the difference in those. And here is the pink ink. So, really different, each one of those decks. Okay. This one's kind of rather humorous. He's got a pink face. Is he red in the face? So anyway, those are some of the cards are quite different between the three decks. Okay. So if you're getting a deck, you may not first notice, you know, not recognize, but when you get the three of them together, you can see the differences in them, and you know, maybe decide what you like, and then have one deck that you really treasure, you know, an older deck like this. Now these, the original one you can get for a pretty cheaper price if you wanted to go with the more muted, but you want to have a really good card stock. You can get this this original 70s deck, and make sure you get the vintage and actual vintage one and not the reproduction, not the reproduction one. I'm going to show you one here that's really different. Yeah, as I'm doing these, I can feel the difference in the cardstock. Okay. Definitely, there's a big difference in them. Now I'm looking for the ace because it's really different between. Where's our ace? Yeah, when these first come out, you get them for like $5 a deck. Now they're, you know, $100 a deck. It's like, oh my God. When you can find them, you know. Now these I have to, yeah, because, okay. So the ace, now the albino weight, you can see how different it is with the colorings of it. And here is the pink ink. The pink ink is definitely brighter colors. It's pretty similar usually to the original It's just the colors are amped up. And the Albana weight, though, it's just definitely different. It's in a different category, you know. So, and I'm trying to think, I'll have to look up prices on them to see what it is. I think you can get the original, the one that's a little more muted, for a cheaper price. Then I think maybe the pink ink, and then the more expensive is the Albana weight. Okay. Now I just ordered another Albana weight because this one, when I got it, is just really, the edges of it have had a lot of oil on them or something, and some of the color cards are really, really discolored. You can't pick it up there, but I can see it. Really, really discolored. And I've been waiting for quite some time to find another deck of these that wasn't like $200-300. You know, if you can find it a little over 100, you're doing really well. So I did order another one, and hopefully the cards are not as discolored as this one is. But I think I'm going to try to use the pink ink a little bit more today and just see how I like them. They don't shuffle as well as my other cards. That's one thing I'm finding with these. Even though the cardstock is not heavy, it's just not shuffling so well. You know, I like to shuffle, you know, this way. Now, a lot of other people, they shuffle. I don't have big hands, so shuffling this way is kind of difficult for me. Now, this way they shuffle fine because they're kind of slick, and so if you've got bigger hands and you can shuffle that way, this deck is fine for that. But for me, the way I shuffle, this deck does not shuffle so easily. Yeah. The other two are much easier, but we'll see. So anyway, I just wanted to introduce those and see what you think of them. Yeah, this one is the colors are very bright, but you can see how orange their faces are. Definitely a brighter color in this. The pink ink. Now, if you happen to like Egyptian stuff, you may like the pink ink. You know, that might be your deck of choice. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see if I can get used to having those. Yeah. Yeah, when I was looking at the decks online, I really, really wanted the pink ink. I really wanted it. But then, you know, like I said, I really like to trim mine down. Even my vintage decks I will trim. And this one, trimming it is a little more difficult. Now what I'm doing, I'm edging it in a really bright pink. And again, with the cards, you can see how faded some are. So somebody that had this deck before had left it out. Some of them were in the sun, and really, this is another thing when you're buying a vintage deck. You might find that some discoloration on it, etc. Just because it's been around for so many years. Now, again, somebody that had this deck must have had it out of the pack and left it in the sun, and so some of the cards got bleached. And it's really kind of odd. Some of the cards are really bleached out, and some are not. So that's another thing. You're not going to get usually you're not going to get a perfect deck when it comes to the color or things, or so that you have to look at them carefully. I've seen some decks online used where the people had written on the cards because they're just starting out to row, and so they're writing some clarification points on their cards. But yeah, let me know what you think of it. Do you like the idea of having an older deck, a vintage deck? You start to see the color there as it's going on. It's going to be a nice bright, looks nice with this pink back. But I have to say, out of these, my favorite is the, I like the feeling of the Albana weight, the cardstock of that best. Second, I like the original. If I want to get into more of the color breakdown of the cards, I like the original. If you're somebody that reads by color as well. I think in this one, just a bit, the faces are so orange it can be a bit maybe off-putting a little bit. And then when you have a devil card and his head is pink, the pink devil, it's a bit odd, okay? It's a bit odd. So anyway, I'm going to leave this here for now. I'm going to continue to edge these for a little bit before I have to take off for that appointment today. I'll just be glad when it's over, okay? I don't know what he's going to do. I don't know if they're going to be winding up taking blood and looking at the levels, so that they can figure out what medication to give and how much, etc. I think it goes by your weight and all of that, how they figure out how much of the hormone and how your thyroid is. Now, of course, when they do the thyroidectomy, I won't have any at all, so they've just got to adjust the level based on my weight and stuff. There you go. Nice bright. Maybe I'll like the cards a bit better when I get them all etched. I don't know. We'll see. But anyway, how is your day going? I was up early this morning because Mr. Max was not feeling well. He was throwing up last night. And he didn't want to get back up into bed because I think he was feeling sick, and he can't jump off the bed, so he would stand in the doorway. He came out here and he went to the potty pads and threw up. And then he came back and he's sitting in the doorway looking at me. It's like, Mommy, please get out of bed and come sit on the couch because I don't want to get into bed. So I did. So I came out here and I'm sitting on the couch with him. So I didn't get as much sleep as I would have liked. But that's okay. Mr. Max is much happier that I'm out here. So he was able to go back to sleep and rest, and yeah, he's doing better. You know, the things we do for our pets. Here's the lover's card. Look how bright that is. It's really bright. Now, I do like that. I love that card. Okay. Maybe if I use these cards a little more, they will start to get easier to shuffle. That could be too. So I'm going to give them a good shot. I am. I'm going to give them more of a good shot, and we'll see. Now this guy, I don't know. He's really green around the gills. He's looking quite ill. So. Oh my goodness. Now you could have a card in your deck that could really be irksome and drive you crazy. Yeah. Yeah, the printing on these is, you know, now you can't see it there, but in person you can see all the kind of, it's kind of, it's yellow, and then you've got kind of a red lines, but on the monitor you're not seeing that. Only in person you see the printing on it. Yeah. On the monitor, it's not picking that up at all. It looks like a solid color. But in person, in this deck, no, it's not a solid color. You can see the lines of the two different colors they used in that. It looks like they originally printed her figure with yellow, and then they went over it with a, is that red or orange? Kind of lines. So in the card, when you look at it in person, you can see that breakdown, which it doesn't pick up on the monitor. So that's another thing. With this older deck, you see the printing, the layers of it as well. It's a nice bright card. Really bright. So these are brighter in the original colors, and the Albana weight is bright, but it's got more psychedelic, I would say, colors to it, which is fun. See, again, very bright. But I happen to like the cardstock in this original deck a little more than I do the cardstock in this one. I just enjoy the shuffling of it. I like that little wider card. I like the feeling of this deck. You know, that's another thing. You get decks that you really enjoy the feel of it, the cardstock, the way it shuffles as well. I don't know, when you get into the tarot, all those things start coming out. you know, not things you think about first when you start getting into it. But the more you get into doing the cards, the more that you see those elements. Yeah, the pink Ankh, these decks are a little thinner and a little longer as well. But the colors are fun. I have to say, you know, if you really like bright colors, it's lovely. But I prefer the little shorter, squattier deck than this longer, thinner one. And those are only things you know once you've got the deck in hand. And again, if you're like me, you want to cut them down. I like this smaller, making it a bit smaller, because then it's easier if I want to carry it, take it with me, you know, and I've got small hands, so they're just easier for me to work with. Yep. So, onwards and upwards. Yeah, we'll see how these work. Anyway, on that note, oh, this has gone long. I'll see you online. Oh my goodness.